Hey, what's up, everybody? You know what it is, man. It's your boy, Sebastian Sanders. We are back with another episode of the Money Monday series. Hey, guys, I hope you guys have been enjoying the season two. Season two has been on fire. We've been dropping a lot of gems, a lot of really good business advice. I hope you're tapping in with your boy. Do me a solid, like, comment, subscribe. Tell me how you're feeling about the channel. Tell me how you're feeling about the series. If you guys do not know, I'm the CEO and founder at Sanders global nonprofit organization, helping youth become financially stable through the Young Billionaires Club. I guess my whole professional life and professional career has been based off of serving and helping others. And so, in addition to that, I'm also a college professor where I teach business at several colleges here in Texas. I love to come at the perspective of education and helping others. And so I hope this serves as a non-traditional type of podcast. I hope this is, and like I said, I always say I don't like to even call it a podcast. I like to really just call this a business show because I like to break down the ins and the outs of the business, show you how to actually do stuff versus packaging it up and trying to put it in a course or really giving you surface level information. I spent years consuming podcasts and everything is I feel like it's surface level and it's repetitive. So I try to build something that gives you a better overall user experience. However, if you ever want to go deeper into something, our contact information is when you subscribe. Definitely reach out. We can set up a one-on-one consultation if I can help you out, support you further. But for the most part, I just love doing, talking to you all and giving you free gems. So with that being said, guys, do me a solid, like, comment, subscribe. Let's jump right into it. 10 businesses you should not start in 2026. Guys, not every business trend is profitable. The expectation, everybody wants easy passive income. Everybody wants to get rich in a month. Everybody doesn't want competition. And everybody wants instant customers and followers 2 hours a day. You want 130 followers every 2 hours. You want 1,000 customers every 2 hours. In reality, it requires constant effort. Sometimes it takes you a couple of years, 1 to 3 years minimum if the market is saturated. You have to earn trust. You got to earn trust. People are not just going to flock to you and buy from you because they like you. Some will, but you got to earn trust because that's not going to last long. And honestly, guys, long hours, low pay early on, you have to expect that in business. So with that being said, the breakdown of the expectation, get away from expecting all of this because you've seen it online and get into the reality. I really wish I would have been more on the reality side when I started because somebody should have told me, hey, great idea, but it's going to take you about 6 years for you to really have something substantial that you can start growing from and profiting from and building a business. And if you would have told me that, maybe I would have been arrogant, like, nah, I ain't trying to hear that. I'm going to be all right. But in reality, man, that it takes you a while to hit your stride in business. And I always say I don't necessarily think I'm in my prime all the way yet. And that's just the way things go. So understand when you start a business, it's like signing a contract. It's like signing to Death Row Records or something, right? You locked in for life. But you guys know what it is. Let's get right into it. 10 businesses you shouldn't start. Random clothing brands. Now, I hate to say this because I use clothing brands a lot in my examples, mainly because it's kind of the easiest to break down. I think everybody can understand that, but it's oversaturated. I mean, man, if I see one more clothing brand pop up on social media, I'm going to lose it, man, because I don't even know who to buy from at this point. And then everything's starting to look the same. I'm one of them people like, I think my wardrobe has changed over time. Like, I really do think I started off, wearing a certain thing, then I kind of got away from it. And so I try to be more minimalistic and simple. But man, I see so many clothing lines. A lot of my young people that I coach, they always want to start a clothing line. But I think, I try to tell them, like, there's nothing wrong with it. I never want to shoot anybody's dreams down because you can go be the next Virgil. You can go be the next Pharrell with ice cream, Billionaire Boys Club. You can do whatever, right? So I never try to sound like a negative Nancy, but I try to be, open and honest. Like, that market is very saturated. And if you don't have, I don't even know if it's come down to the design at this point, right? Because everything is starting to look the same, even if it's a nice design. Everyone starts a brand. High inventory cost, low price points sometimes. And then it's kind of hard to differentiate exactly, what's nice and what's not. So a key point of all of this is a logo is not necessarily a business, right? Just because you throw a logo on a t-shirt doesn't mean it's a business. It necessarily doesn't become a business until you start to do mass production. So for the most part, clothing brands usually start off as a hustle before you convert over to an entrepreneur. There's nothing wrong with that. We have to start off somewhere. But I think that's where a lot of people kind of get stuck at, just doing t-shirts because they feel like I don't know how to scale this because the market is too saturated. So number one, random clothing brands. Let's stay away from those, especially going into 2026 and beyond. And my last thing I'll say about this is Amazon has created a marketplace to where you start to get shirts directly from like not I'm gonna say high end, but like high level mass production companies. So essentially, you're competing not just with everybody else around you that's starting a t-shirt brand, but now you got to compete with the Amazons and the Walmarts who are starting to pick up brands and sell their own stuff. So keep that in mind. All right, number 2. I've done this before. Luxury event space. I wouldn't consider mine's a luxury. I think mine's was more community focused at the time when I was a part owner. And man, those are the easiest to get into in real estate. It's very easy. And I'm starting to see that become a saturated market. Where you win with that is square footage, right? And I won't deep dive into that because I think I talked about that in one of the episodes of my story of how I lost, thousands of dollars opening up a thrift store and an event space. But the thing about that is the problem that you're going to have in real estate is you don't own it. So you're paying rent, plus you're paying rent. So now you got to take off what's left after you pay all the bills, which ultimately may not always be a lot, which is one of the reasons why I exited. So rent, you got maintenance. Maintenance is tricky because if you're rent, you usually don't pay for maintenance per se, but however, certain things you want to do on the inside, that's something that you have to pay. Staffing, you don't necessarily have a large staff, but you have to staff, and then you have slow booking months, and you have slow book weeks. So, money is not always consistent if you do not have a big enough space that can provide more than just a traditional birthday party, right? You don't want to look profitable online because it's stressful behind the scenes. And I've been there. I'm not going to go deep into it because I've already hit on the head on another episode. But high overhead, inconsistent revenue, not enough profit at the end of the day, but you put in so much time cleaning up and doing all the marketing. You just look at your buyout and you're like, man, I'm not making enough to make ends meet. So event spaces are the easiest to get into. Stay away from those. One thing I would say is if it's easy to get into, there's a reason why. If everybody in mama is doing it, you might want to take a look back and say, hold on, I don't know about that. That looks a little too easy. I'm the type of person, if I know everybody's doing something, then I know that it's an easy path to get into. It's a saturated market, and that wave is not going to last long. So be very careful about those. Restaurants without experience. Restaurant business is the hardest business. I know you guys seen it. About 85%, 90% of restaurants, I think, within the first 1 or 3 years, typically, fail, right? Low profit. And the problems is thin margins, right? I don't think passion is enough in the restaurant business. You got to actually have some experience or have a partner that does. Staffing, right? Sometimes you can be overstaffed, sometimes you can be understaffed, and you find yourself in the kitchen cooking 10, 12 hours a day. You got food quality issues, right? Your food is not always good. You have quality issues with your vendor. And then you typically waste a lot of long hours. Like, it's not just a traditional 9 to 5 and I can go home. That restaurant is open for at least 12 to 10 hours. And then even on its off days, you got to go in and do restocking and all of that. And so restaurants are operational businesses first. And so if you don't understand operations, it's going to be hard to run that restaurant. Like, if you're the best cook in the world, you can make the best fried chicken and collard greens or the best chicken sandwiches or best whatever. But if you have no operational experience, you will literally burn yourself out and really kill the business before the business actually takes off. And I think that's when you kind of need to team up with an operational type person, maybe hire somebody. But then you may say, Sebastian, I don't have the funds to do that. That's what makes the restaurant business so hard, because you need so much, but there's not enough money coming through the door to do those things. So if you don't have like a smoking product that has a huge demand and you got somebody that can help you with the operations, I would stay away from a restaurant until I'm ready. Maybe I would just start off with a food truck. Make it small, make it minimum. I'm sorry not to say small. Food trucks are not small, but it's small in comparison to a restaurant. So start off on the minimum side before you go and get a full-blown restaurant. The next one is generic podcast. I know y'all like, man, he gonna tell me not to do a podcast and he over here on the podcast. I look at this as another form of content, another form of me generating leads. I'm not in it to be the best podcaster in the world. If God puts me in a position to say, hey, son, you're going to go off to be this, you'll be on TV doing this, okay, then hey, so be it, right? But this is more so of an extension of me, of branding myself. So I don't like to see just random podcasts on there just rambling, right? And I think a lot of times people get on podcasts and do hot topics that they feel like can create controversy. I guess, do whatever you feel, but it's saturated. It can be a little corny, right? Because everybody's doing it. And a lot of people do content without a strategy. So have a strategy if you want to get into the podcast space. I'm tired of hearing about the date night topics. How much should man pay for a date? I'm tired of hearing about, the men and women stuff, the sports stuff. Like, everybody shouldn't have a microphone, right? And that was one of the reasons what took me so long with getting this business show off the ground. And one of the reasons why I don't like to consider the podcast, because I'm not just in front of you just rambling about how to get rich quick and how to do certain things. Like, I look at this more of education more than a podcast, essentially. Some podcasts do educate, but I think for the most part, a lot of them are entertainment now. So, the problems is sometimes you don't have a niche, you have no audience, and then you're inconsistent with the uploads, right? So for me, I try to do mass production, which I try to do multiple episodes at a time, release them, let it sit on the market for a while, let it grow, and then I go in and do my next batch, because I'm not a true podcaster where I have to come in every day and record. I have a busy calendar, right? I have other things. I have a company to run. So essentially, I try to build my structure a lot different. Drop shipping, get rich quick stores. The gold rush is over. I'm tired of seeing, I can show you how to build this and make a lot of money off of Amazon, guys. If you ain't got on Amazon yet and done it, it's probably not going to work, right? Drop shipping was kind of like the COVID wave, like 2018 to 2020. Nowadays, it's not really that out there as much, mainly because I think everybody's caught on to it. Everybody's went overseas and bought the products and put them online or did whatever. So it's high ad cost. You gotta run high ads. You got to run ads consistently before you even get one sale. By the time you look up a cost to acquire a customer, maybe $100 to acquire one customer, and you're still in a red. So, drop shipping is one of those things. It kind of came and went. Now, some people are still killing it, but, I'll stay away from that. Low trust. We can't trust you if we don't even know where your company is at. And then there's a lot of competition. As you know, you get on Instagram all day. Everybody's selling a drop shipping course. So that's one of those things where if you didn't catch the wave, it's probably too late. And to be honest, customers are smarter now. Post-COVID, everybody understand this is where you got that from. Well, I'm not going to buy it from you, right? So people have gotten a lot smarter in understanding. Large brick and mortar, too early. I've said this enough. I don't even want to keep going into this. Rent, utilities, payroll, and foot traffic do not scale before the demand. And a building does not guarantee customers. Yeah, everybody being there on grand opening day. Yeah, they may be there on special event days. But are they coming through that door Monday through Friday? And I'm going to just leave it at that because I did a whole episode on that. Businesses started for a social media image. We got to stop starting stuff because it looks good, the aesthetic. There's no profitability plan. You're overspending on aesthetics. You're going rent luxury cars and going to the mall and influencer marketing. That's what it is. I was looking for the word at the top of my head. I was like, hold on, what is it? Influencer marketing. We got to stop trying to look successful without being successful. Looking rich and being wealthy are two different things. Anybody can look rich. I can easily go rent a car right now today. I can go get a drop top and ride around and be like, yeah, man, I just sold my company for millions and billions of dollars. And everybody like, oh, yeah, maybe he did because the aesthetic. But you got to understand that we live in a world where everybody's selling the image. So don't be that consumer of an image. You got to truly do your background check on and vet on people to see are they really are who they say they are. Overall, my lesson for you is understand operations, validate the demand, understand your finances, and focus on sustainability. Some business fail before they even open the doors because it just never made sense. I've been there. I've done something that it probably didn't make sense from the get-go, but I did it because, hey, I can do it. I'm ambitious. I have a big ego, but I was humbled in life. And so truly understand that sometimes the businesses fail before you even launch because it was never meant to be launched in the first place. And that's okay. Sometimes you need to learn that lesson. And I wanted to end it with this. Entrepreneurship is real work. It's not just the glitz and the glamour and all the pictures. This is real work, guys. Like, we put in work to be successful entrepreneurs. So take it serious. Go at it 100%. And if you start something that makes the most sense for the economy, the workplace, and for the community, you'll do just fine. You know what it is, man. It's Money Mondays. These are 10 businesses you should not start. Guys, like, comment, subscribe. Hit up your boy. Give me on LinkedIn. Follow me on Instagram. I want to hear from you all. And stay tuned. I'll see you on the next episode.